95% of the time. So the way that they're going to do a normal service, this would be, this doesn't matter whether it's a baptism, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a Sunday morning mass. If there's nobody in the studio, this is how they're going to do it. So basically they're going to come over here and they're going to hit this press to start. It's going to ask for a passcode, okay? The passcode is the same as the gate code, okay?
Got it. Okay.
All right. Once it enters, it's access granted. If they enter in the wrong code, it'll say denied, and then they'll have to try it again and again, okay? And now they're immediately asked this question, are you wanting to record, okay? Most of the time, they're not gonna want to record, but if they say yes, this is a different recording than having somebody in the studio, and I'll explain it in a moment. So right now, let's just go into the mode where we're not recording, okay? So I'm gonna say no, all right? What happens is this, if you notice, as soon as I turned that on, I said, no, we are not recording. Now, when we get control of those TVs in the lobby, the TVs in the lobby are gonna turn on, and as you see, they're going to a signage player, okay? Right now, that signage player is the PC that's up in the loft. And I just have a PowerPoint that I just created a quick little slideshow of it, okay?
So that PC is the one controlling those monitors?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. For now, there is a separate box that we have that in the future, once Jason or somebody says, oh yeah, here's the signage player we're gonna do, or if you get a PC that's dedicated to doing a PowerPoint, that's what it'll flip over to eventually. But right now, all we did was we just said, I don't wanna record, we've started up the system. What happened is the TVs have turned on and they're showing signage out there, okay? Now, in prep to lead up to the service, whatever the event is, there's going to be one of two things you're going to do. The presenter, whoever's speaking, is going to come over and grab a microphone. They're going to plug in the ambo, okay? Right now, all of the mics are muted, okay? So that they can plug in the ambo, they can, and there won't be any popping sound or anything like that, okay? The father, priest, whoever can turn on the microphone, and they don't have to worry about being heard. If they wanted to, before the service starts, be heard and check to make sure the mic's working, they can hit this audio button. And right now, what you've got is, right here is all of the wireless microphones. So there are 5 body packs over there and 3 handhelds, okay? So they can unmute to test them. So like right now, if I walk over, and I grab a handheld microphone, and if I turn on the microphone, at the bottom is a power, and I turn on that microphone, this right here tells me that that's HH1. So right now you can see I'm not being heard out there. However, if I unmute that, now you can hear I'm coming through the system. Okay, cool. So they could unmute the mics individually, go on and do the service. They don't have to do anything else anymore because you're not recording. Only thing that will happen is if they don't hit this start service button, those TVs out in the lobby will just keep showing the signage the whole time, and they won't hear any speaker. There would be no audio coming through the speakers out there in the lobby, okay? But otherwise, when they're ready to start the service, they can hit this start service, and that will automatically unmute all of the microphones, okay? So the mics are now unmuted. And as you saw, this switched over from the signage to now a wide angle shot of the altar and the ambo, okay? So out in the TVs, they're seeing that shot, that camera shot. And the microphone, the speakers are unmuted so that now somebody can stand out there. So if a kid's being fussy or whatever, that parent can go out there and still be a part of the service out there in the lot and the entry area. Okay? Whenever they're done with the service, all they have to do is hit this pre-post service, and as you see, it sends it back to the signage, but now the mics are muted. So nobody's gonna be heard. This mutes all the microphones except for the choir microphones, okay? Tim, where do they keep the 168 and the iPad for that?
Right in here.
Okay, so inside this closet here, they have all of these mic stands and XLR cables, but this box right here, this is the key box for the choir. The choir will use this whether they are standing down here on the floor or whether they're up in the loft. If there's nobody to run the mixer, this is what they do. They just plug this into power and plug this into one of the data jacks that's labeled out there for AV. If you want to, we can test that, show it to you. But basically every corner, this corner has an outlet. That corner has an outlet.
Under each niche.
That corner has an outlet, and this corner has an outlet. Normally the choir stands over here.
It's for the choir lights.
This will make more sense to you when you get into the studio. Okay. But right now, they open up this cabinet. And they can take this and plug this into the power. And as soon as I plug that into the power, you can see I got a light there showing me I have power. And then they plug this into the wall. Typically use the first jack, but it really shouldn't matter. They all should be active, okay?
And then they can.
And now you can see that on here, I'm showing that I have a link light, okay? So now this choir can plug in any instrument and source here. What we want to train the choir people when I do the choir training is we're gonna tell them, because right now the last couple of services that we've done, they haven't been miking the instruments. And even the piano, because the piano's loud enough, it fills up the room, you don't need to worry about the piano. The guitars, they might put a mic in front of the guitar, which is good. But when we're streaming a service, we want a mic on every single instrument. And they can actually, over here, turn it all the way down so it's not coming through the speakers, and but you'll still get it in the studio, okay? So they have an iPad app, that's also over there, right? Okay.
The iPad is next to all the wireless mics charging on the counter.
Okay.
Eventually, they've requested an outlet be built into the secure closet where the expensive sacred instruments are, and they will have all the microphones in there in a more and the iPad in a more secure location.
So the choir person has an iPad and they can do a mix in here to get it sounding right in here. So they're responsible for Saintly Sue that doesn't sing very well to make her lower than everybody else and get it to sound right in here. You don't care about what's happening in here. What they do and how they adjust the volume will not affect what's going to go to you guys in the studio. Okay? All right? So,
Neil, I have a question for you. We do have a lot of concerts. Now, does this apply to them as well, or is it just?
Yes.
yes.
It does.
It will apply for a concert until they decide to use the mixer. If you've got something that, you know, some groups coming in and they have somebody who can run a mixer, then you'll go into that fourth mode, which will be mixer mode, full tech mode. Okay?
The benefit is they still use this box.
Okay, that's what I
We just
wanted.
route all
Yes.
the choir channels up to the mixer instead of the auto mix.
Yeah. So this box will always be used for, especially to get, if you know the mixer's all the way up there. You could technically also put the mixer. You see that right to the right of the baptistry.
Yes,
You
I
see
do.
that white sign right there.
Yes,
Below that is one of these type of jacks. Is there a power outlet also?
It's over against the wall, so there would be an extension cord
Right.
across the
So
door.
somebody technically to the right side of the doors, to the right set of doors, they could set a mixer, a table right there, and put a mixer right there, so they could actually be on the floor, hearing that. So we've got this flexibility that you can move things around. So, so yes, this box will be used, but it'll be, you won't care about it, but it's going to be routed differently. The only time you'll care about it is to know which iPad app you're going to be using when we get in the studio. Okay.
And honestly, the mixer could be here
Yeah.
or at any corner as
Yeah.
well, because we have power and we have data, and that's
Yeah.
all we need.
So you could take the mixer can be here, the mixer can be up there, the mixer can be in the back, anywhere we have the power and data, you can plug it in and you have the ability to move. What also we haven't even gone into is there are 2 TVs on carts that you guys may or may not have known about or seen, but they're in the building next door in the small room off the fellowship hall. There's 2 carts, TV carts, that you can bring in and you can plug into any of these 4 corners, and the video that you're seeing on those 2 TVs out there can be inside here as well.
Yeah.
They can even go a next step that the presenter can walk up and write things on whatever video is being shared and do stuff, and that can be sent to all. It's some cool stuff that you could do, but that's down the road.
Yeah.
Where we're getting.
So one question, sorry, when we started over there, right?
Yeah.
So who is responsible to do that?
That is normally
The Sacristerian.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out the guy's name. So is that Sacristerian?
Yeah, the
Sacristerian.
person responsible for setting up the mass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have had some issues
Yeah.
in the past because we go there and we start a service and then he comes and say, who starts service?
Yeah, and so
because I
we're-
need to unmute the mics.
Well, you're
like
going to
5
see
minutes
something.
before the service
So in a moment,
starts,
when we get done and I show you this mode, when we're all done with this mode, I'm going to have Tim go back there and turn on that touch panel, and you're going to see that we're taking away power from him over here.
Yeah, I think that's what he
Yeah,
is
we're taking
upset
away,
about.
not power, but control. That's a better word.
But that is why I want to know.
So
who
you're going to
is
see that mode here.
responsible.
That 75% of the time, they'll come in, they'll hit start. All these mics are muted right now. They can plug everything in, and then if they want to test it, they on their app, they unmute it. And by the way, if you mute it, if you're in the studio and you hit mute, that is going to mute it in here and out there, because we didn't want somebody to in here mute it and they think they're muted and all of a sudden they're talking about somebody or something.
Confessions.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's the only sync that you have between in here and out there is if that is muted, it will not go to the recording and it will not go to in the house here. But if it's unmuted, it's live in both locations. Okay, that makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you heard the term hot mic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it means.
Yeah. So they come in here, they could set this up, the choir director can get the mix that they want in the house. We just need to train them. Listen, we get that you don't want to put the piano there, but please just have a microphone nearby so it can pick it up. And then that way we have, that's the only thing you guys need to coordinate with them is, okay, who's on number 1, who's on number 2, what instruments are on, what number the instruments are on. And then that way you'll know, okay, so you just have somebody come in here with a sheet of paper and says, 1 is Sue, 2 is Bob, 3 is the guitar, 4 is the piano. And that way when you get your iPad out, you're like, I'm adjusting the volume because Bob is kind of loud right now and Sue's kind of low, so raise up Sue, lower down Bob. The piano kind of have a hard time hearing that, or it's too hot, lower that down. You can get a mix so that it sounds better on the recording. In the
And the
stream.
benefit is whatever you hear in that little studio speaker, that's very accurate to what's going to the recording.
Yeah, okay. So that's that, all right. We can leave this here for now. I'll put it away in a moment. Yes. Okay.
This is good.
So right now we're in pre-post service mode. It's showing the signage on the TVs, and I say TVs for the 2 in the lobby, plus if you do bring in those portable TVs, wherever they're plugged in, they're seeing that signage, all right?
Yeah,
And-
sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
We do have a large group during high school that has, we've got plenty of students that do not fit here, so we also use a hall. Now, those TVs will work in the hall as well?
That was
Not
part
yet,
of the,
because we have to get data cables over
Okay,
there.
okay.
that part of the scope
We
wasn't within
have
the
all the
budget.
students, the rest of the students sitting
Yeah.
in the hall listening and.
We
seeing
originally,
the-
we originally had a whole system set up for the fellowship hall, but everything went well over budget. So right now, they come in, you turn it on, you're in pre-post, they hook up the mics, they can check them by just coming here and manually unmuting. And then, like I said, when it's time to start the service, they can do start service and that will flip over to the TV, okay? When they're done, they just hit the pre-post and that unmutes and goes back to the signage. Simple as that. Now there is this ability over here, let's say there's something and somebody goes into feedback and the choir director has their iPad and they can't figure out who it is. You could just hit this mute all mics and that will, as you can see, mute all the mics. You could also go unmute all mics and that unmutes all the mics, okay?
Now, that one is focused on the wireless mics and the ambo.
So you see I did muting all the
That's
mics?
it.
These actually mutes the choir and
Now, the mute all mutes everything.
everything, right? Yeah.
Wire,
Right.
ambo, wireless.
And so what I've got here is, as you see, I've muted all the mics. I even have this ability because one of the things that Father Ernesto was worried about is he said that the Sacristerian goes out and does the introduction and they have some people do some things and they're back here and he's like concerned that if they're coughing and stuff that their mic would be out there. That's where this comes in. And we went back and forth when we do the start service. Do we just unmute the ambo and the handhelds and not the body packs? And he ultimately decided, well, if the father forgets to press this, you know, so we can work out this program that if the presenter is in here, they're wearing the body pack and they're concerned about that, we cannot unmute them, and they can just, when they walk out, they can hit this unmute body packs, and if you can see, that just unmuted the body packs. You know?
Okay. And
Or
the body
you can-
packs, you mean?
The thing on their belt
Yeah.
with the headset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if everybody's concerned, like, oh, I started the service, we now got the camera shot there, I could hit this mute all mics, everybody's muted, and then whenever they are actually, the sacristerian's ready, they can come out and just hit unmute only the handhelds and the ambo, and that's now unmuted.
Okay.
And then when the father goes out, they can hit the unmute mic. So I gave you some flexibility until you guys get comfortable and figure out what you want. As of right now, though, if you hit that start service, everybody will be unmuted. Okay?
Okay, so
And-
again, sorry, I'm very focused on who's responsible for what.
Right.
So all of these, basically,
This
the
is all,
sacristy
again, this is not your mode.
person,
This is not your
then-
mode. Not your mode. You're not worried about anything right now. Okay?
Well, I'm kind of, right? Because
Right.
you told me first that I need to start a service to start live
No,
streaming.
no,
so-
no, 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 no.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about that right now, okay? Because
Okay.
this is, when you guys are not here, this is how they're doing this. This will all come together in just a moment for you, okay? Now, if you remember, whenever I said, when I hit that press to start, and it said, do you want to record, right? So right now, there's nobody in the studio, nobody up in the loft in this mode, but they did hit, yes, I want to record. That's all the more reason why they want to hit the start service, because not only will it flip the TVs, it will actually start the SMP recording. And if they got to put a thumb drive in there, then it'll be recorded to that thumb drive. Otherwise, later somebody has to go pull it off of the server, you know,
Got it.
to get that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Now, the only thing that they would do is they could either have somebody standing here in the sacristy, or they could go up to the loft and somebody could be like, so let's say this is a baptism. Right now we're showing the wide angle shot, but they're over here at the altar and ambo. They can get that, and they have a shot that now shows the altar and ambo up close. Now they go over to the baptistry. So we come here and they can have a shot of the baptistry. It's a wedding and somebody's walking in, so they can go over here to the entry and they can see them walking down, coming down there. Oh, we don't want them to see what's going on. Let's just switch back over to signage. And now this is going to the TV. So whatever they're doing there is what goes to the TVs or what goes to the recording. So
Okay.
that's the only difference in that mode.
Okay.
Make sense? So when I'm
What is
done,
the name of this mode? Sorry.
this is just the normal, this is normal service with recording and without recording.
So when you say recording, that's live streaming?
No, it is
No,
not.
it's not.
That
Okay.
is, we don't have anybody in the studio,
Got it.
but we want to capture this. So right now, what happens is the box that's over in the studio has a hard drive built into it. And it also has a USB thumb drive in the front, which I'm going to show you when we get to the studio. If you plug in that USB thumb drive, and once you hit the start service, it'll record it to the hard drive and to the USB drive. If somebody forgets to put the USB drive, doesn't matter. If you started that thing and you said, I want to record it, it's going to be on that hard drive. Then somebody can remote in and download that, and then you can give that to a person.
Got it.
So like if they got a wedding and they're like, oh, we don't want to pay to have somebody in the studio, but we do want to capture. So when you charge for the weddings, you can charge a little bit of an extra fee for the person who's going to have to download that, and maybe having one person who's just sitting here doing this, you know, however they want to do that. That makes sense?
It does.
Okay. So if they forget to hit this pre-post service, the only harm they have is all the mics are still active and the signage might not be what you want it to be. If I hit this I'm done, it's going to make sure everything's shut off anyway. But
Okay.
they hit this pre-post. What's nice about that is the choir will not be muted, so the choir can still continue singing, but the presenter, father, doesn't have to worry about their mics when they're taking them on and off and stuff. They don't have to worry about that. And then this goes back over to the signage, right? And then when they're done, they hit them done, everything shuts off, choir mutes, all that stuff. Now, what I'm gonna do is have Tim go over to his computer, and I'm gonna have him turn on the studio so you can see what happens here, okay? So let's go to studio mode, Tim.
Normal service, then
So
second
Tim
mode
is walking
studio.
over, so to speak, to the studio. He's going to that touch panel in the studio and he's hitting press to start. And it's going to immediately ask him, do you want to do studio mode or full tech mode? And when he does studio mode, this is what happens to the touch panel.
Oh.
So you can see they've lost a lot of control. The only thing that they have control of is this. It says the studio system is in studio mode, recording streaming is being done from the studio. They get a preview of whatever you are doing in the studio. That is also what's going to be going to the TVs. That's what will be going to the recording, whatever you guys do, okay? The only thing they have is this room occupancy, so that if it's a full room, they can tap all the way across. Oh, that word got changed. That was supposed to say full instead of camera. That got changed somehow.
Yeah, because it does say full on the other ones.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
So if it's a full room, they can go over here, and what that does is that increases the volume because people's bodies are absorbing the sound. And if it's kind of a mid-sized room, they go to the middle right there. If it's kind of a little bit, this is by default where we have, and then if there's like hardly anybody in here, we want to go all the way down to few. Okay, so they can adjust based off of, the father can adjust saying, oh, I see the size crowd that we have, let's raise and lower that, okay? They also have individual controls for the volume here, same with the choir guy for in-house mix, okay? But everything else is done in the studio, okay? Now, let's go to tech mode now. So Tim's gonna now shut things down and he's gonna restart it now in tech mode.
Yeah, one question about this, because if we are in studio mode, and you said, right, that all the control is, I mean, we don't have any control. They don't have any control.
This is the touch screen in the studio.
Yeah.
We can run it remotely. So I'm going to go, I'm done. Yes. And look at that.
Okay. Now go ahead and do the press to start. And now we're going to go to full tech mode. So this is now full tech mode. Notice there's no audio here. They still have this room occupancy, but there's no audio. And the reason why is because in full tech mode, we're running the mixer, and you're going to have somebody who's going to be on the mixer mixing in-house. The reason why we had audio in studio mode is because there's nobody to run the audio in here other than the choir director or somebody at the sacristy to run the audio in here. They can raise and lower that audio as much as they want in here to get the mix to sound good in here, and it will not affect what you're getting at the studio. You guys are good, because what we do is we take that audio, it comes into our system, and then we say, go to the studio, go to the speakers. And then we have the volume control here for the speakers and the volume control here for the studio after that split. So they can raise and lower it up and affect whatever they want. And so you could be in the studio and they might be like, yeah, we know St. Lee Sue's not a good singer, but she's, bless her heart, she's blessed, we see her smile, we want her doing that. We still want her in the house, but you're like, yeah, she sounds awful on the recording. Go away. Right? So you can see in the full tech mode, this is the mode that you're gonna use probably maybe 5% out of the year. Those are 4 or 5 events that you're gonna have, where you're gonna have somebody who's at the mixer and somebody who's in the studio. The people in the studio are taking care of the streaming, and the person at the mixer is taking care of the audio there. And the reason why we get rid of the rest of this stuff is because they're not going to be, oh, you know what? We do need to leave over here. If we go back, I'm done, yes, thank you. Okay. We do need to, so we're going to make that adjustment, 1941. Okay. We do need to leave the mutes in there. So we'll need to fix that full and add those mutes back in.
Yeah, exactly. That was my question. If we go to studio mode, they lose all of those, and that's
they'll
where we start having problems.
Yeah, they'll have that on there, and they'll have this audio, but they'll lose control of the displays because you guys are in control of the displays. They lose the camera selection because you guys have control of that.
That makes sense.
I want to start here. Okay, so what's cool about that is this. The choir director, they have an iPad, and they have access to all of that audio, so the choir director will be in charge of basically mixing everything, including the ambo, including the wireless mics. They have access to it all. But over here, there have been some times where the sacristarian's here and the choir director's not paying attention. Sacristarian can come over here, and as you can see, they have not only the wireless and the ambo, but they also have for the 4 lectern, those are the XLRs that are on the stage. They also have the entry and outside, they can mute and unmute those. So if they have a special event where they're like, hey, we want to unmute the porch so that people can be introduced in the porch, then they can do this, they can unmute that, and they can raise and lower the volume on that porch, and then when everybody comes in, they can mute that, okay?
Where's the porch? Sorry.
That's the main entry
The main
outside.
entry.
Oh.
Yeah, you have speakers
you have
outside.
Speakers. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you have speakers
Okay,
outside, so like on Easter Sunday,
Yeah,
I've been told that
yes.
the
Yeah,
father
yeah,
says
yeah,
everybody
the
out there.
procession starts outside.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so you can start all that out there. They have access to that box, that 168 box. They have access to all of the floor XLRs on there. Tim noticed the channel 11 got messed up.
I did.
Okay.
And when I look in GUI, it looks perfect.
Yeah. Probably has an enter on the end of it.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how it's going to be used 75% of the time. Again, you guys don't care. I just want you to understand what leads to what gets to you, so you'll know the differences here. And as you can see, once you guys go and start this, once you start the studio, it immediately flips this over here, and they only have access to what they have access to. Okay, so let's go back over to the studio now.
Yep. And by the way, this is what will show on the iPad.
Yeah.
The magic is down here in fine print, it says choir mix, which is what they would see on their iPad. On your iPad down here in fine print, it says studio mix. So it's gonna look the same, but you'll know that it's the studio iPad,
Yeah.
not the choir iPad.
And also the where they're located, because theirs is right there, and then yours is going to be in the studio. Okay. So let's go to the studio.
So when we come here, this is the first thing we see,
Yep,
right?
first thing you see.
Okay.
So when you come in, so let's say they've been already done 3 or 4 services on Sunday morning. I think it's 2 services on Sunday morning before you come in. When you come in, this is going to be like this. If they're in the middle of a service, just beware that as soon as you press the start here, that's going to take over and they're going to lose most of their
Got
control
it.
over there, okay? They'll still have, like, they're going to lose that start service and stop service button.
Yeah.
All right? But that's the only thing you just need to be aware of.
Okay.
When you press the start, it says, okay, what mode do you want to do? 9 times out of 10, you're just going to hit this studio, right? You don't have anybody who's up in the loft, you
Yeah.
know? So when we hit studio, this is what it looks like. Looks a lot like what you've been seeing, right? The only thing that you have is you don't have any audio controls here because you're not controlling the audio in the room.
Yeah.
So you don't care about the audio in the room.
Yeah.
What you do care about is the audio in the mix. And that's where, because if you look at the start here, it says, hey, studio uses the small studio
This
mixer.
is the small mix.
So when you go into this mode, what happens is this. Right now, because we're on pre-post service, all of the mics are muted. Okay? So all the mics are muted, so you're not going to hear anything over here until they hit the start service
Okay,
to
so
unmute the mics.
they have to hit the
Yeah.
studio.
You do have the ability over here to unmute mics and mute all the mics.
Oh,
so you
okay.
can do all of them over here. And once we get the displays active, there's also displays on and displays off. We automatically turn on the displays when you start it. But let's just say, we now brought out one of the carts and we want to use that. You don't have to go and restart the whole system. You could just either come here to displays and turn that on, or just hit this displays on, displays off, and
Got
that'll
it.
turn all the
Okay.
displays on
Okay.
and off.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You just
Okay.
quick buttons to do a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what you're concerned with here now is this. If they forget to adjust the room occupancy, you can adjust it for them. But they're in charge of the audio in there. You don't care about anything other than, oh, hey, the service is starting. Somebody's talking. They forgot to hit the start service. Then, okay. Now, when we go to the start service mode, what that will do is that is supposed to, didn't automatically start the recording. Service. All right. What we're going to build into the program is when you're in this mode and you hit this start service, it will automatically start your stream.
Yeah, that was my question. So I need to wait for them to start the service for my live stream to go out.
Yeah. or you can start it at any time.
That's something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So here's the thing. So do you want to just manually start the service, start the stream yourself, and start the recording yourself?
I mean, I don't know because I haven't talked to the Sacristarian person.
Yeah.
I know that for the past 2 Sundays, I have been here a little early and started service, and I'm assuming now that
Yeah.
he loses some control that he has, and then
Yeah.
he comes here and see who's doing what, right? So,
Yeah. So-
the way we used to do live streams is that we start live stream between 5 and 3 minutes before the service.
Okay. So what I need to do then is I need to have a third button here that would say pre-post service, start stream record, and then start service.
I would prefer that so we don't interfere with each other. But again, I also don't want to overcomplicate. I just want to know if we need to wait for the sacristy to start the service. If that's easier, that's fine. I just need to.
No, because when we go into this mode, they no longer have that start service, pre-post service. You've got the
okay,
buttons over
okay,
here.
okay.
So you're right. If you guys start at 5 minutes before, then I need to change the start service to not unmute the mics, because otherwise then they're hot 5 minutes before.
Yeah, exactly. That's also my thing, right? So,
Okay. So when you come in on Sunday,
Okay.
Lord willing, I'll get this done before then. You'll have 3 buttons. It'll say pre-post service, start stream, start
Okay.
stream record, and start service.
Okay.
We are not going to record on this thing because this thing has like no hard drive space.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
So you will record on here,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
SMP 111,
Okay.
and we will start the stream over there. The one thing is you may want to double check that for some reason this thing keeps signing out. So you want to come in here.
On Restream.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
okay, so
that,
it says
that
you're good
happened.
there.
Yeah, that happened.
I
last
know
time,
there was a
yes.
few times where that's been signed out, but it's good, it's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Okay.
So if you
okay.
see, hey, the stream record, you just want to make sure that that's signed in. All right, that's the only thing you just want to double check. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll add a button now that will say post service, start stream record, start service. We will start the stream, we'll start the recording,
Uh-huh.
and then whatever you see on that screen right there, that's what they're seeing on the TVs and that's what they're seeing on the recording. Okay? Now when you're in this mode and you've started the service, when you start service, that will make sure that all of the mics are unmuted. Okay? So once you do that, all of the mics will unmute for the wireless mics will unmute.
Is that what you want?
Yes, except for start stream. I would put start stream kind of in the middle of
Well,
this
she
thing.
starts the stream before they start the mass.
No, but I think to make less confusing to
Yeah,
sacristy. so-
because you're going from this way over. You're working building towards.
Yeah,
If you want to reverse it and say pre-post, go to start. Because since we usually read things left to right, either way, in order of what they would push. In fact, we can actually put a step 1, step 2, step 3. Press this 1,
Yeah.
press this 2, press this 3.
For those who don't know.
Okay. Audio. So what happens is once you start the service, you'll start hearing audio coming in through the speakers. As you know, on the back of this guy, there is a volume level here.
Yeah.
And right now that thing's like pretty high. You can raise and lower the volume for how you hear it in here. Usually I'm finding that if you leave it at like 3 o'clock, that's a pretty decent volume level. Okay. Now, what you have to get your proper mix is this. Most of the services you're going to be using, they're going to be using the wireless microphones. So if you look right here, I have 7 of the wireless microphones coming in, and they're labeled as Priest 1, 2, and 3, which those are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are body packs. Okay, so the priests are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tim, we may want to change those to just say body pack so that they know rather than priest. But
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
that way.
Yeah,
That's-
And then you have
So
3
are
of the
we saying
handhelds.
that's in UCI, right?
In here we just change it on the
Oh, on the mixer,
on the
yeah.
mixer, yeah.
Okay.
So on here, you've got the 4 body packs and 3 handhelds, and then we put the ambo. So this is majority of what you're going to use for adjusting if there is no choir. Okay.
Let me take a picture.
If there's no choir. Right now, you got your handheld, your body packs 1, 2, 3, 4, handheld 1, 2, 3, and the ambo on here.
Okay.
So what you're gonna have coming in here, now if I click this, turn that off, that's a mute, okay? In here, this one does not affect what's going on out there. So you can actually
Yeah, you sure?
on this mixer, this only affects what's going to the recording.
So
Okay?
basically, this is mute on mute.
Yeah, so right now, because that's not on, they're not going to be heard.
Got it.
So you'll see an activity, but you're not going to hear them coming
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
But so if that's there, that means they're unmuted. This is going all the way through. So unless they're all the way down, you're going to hear them. But you can adjust it. So let's say Father Ernesto is on mic 1, and he's a little bit louder than Father Miguel, who's on mic 2. Excuse me, he's a little bit louder than Father Miguel. So I lower him down, and here's Father Miguel. Then you're not using 3, you're not using 4. Handheld is the Sacristerian, and they're really loud, so we'll lower them down. You know, Father Miguel's really loud because he's really passionate right now. You know, he's sharing his heart. He's like, I'm telling you, repent, turn to Jesus, you know, all that, okay? Yeah, so he's really low. Sacristerian, you know, they talk pretty loud. And then you got timid Father Miguel. It's like, bless you, you know, he's cool, calm, collected.
Also,
right?
we're trying to work on it, but the English choir, the guy who comes in and plays piano with one other voice,
Yeah.
he's been grabbing the handhelds.
And that's why I said, just because you said, hey, if there's no music, then, you know, or if there is some music, then they're automatically going to be using the 168. We don't know because they've been coming in and they grab these handhelds, okay? That's why the one thing you will have to do is you'll need to go to them and say, which mics are you using? Where are you plugged in? And if they happen to be using one of the handhelds, great. And so then you've got the choir guy and he's really belting it out, lower him down. Then they got a girl, man, she's got a beautiful voice, but she's kind of timid. Raise her up. You get the mix so that it sounds right in here. Somebody comes to the ambo, they're really quiet, raise them up. They're loud, go lower them down. You can do that, okay? Most of your time is going to be spent on this page,
Okay.
okay?
Oh, I need to take a
Most of your time will be spent on this page, and this is inputs 1 through 8,
Yeah. Okay.
okay? So this is inputs 1 through 8. Now what you do have though,
Uh-huh.
is you have these inputs 9 through 16.
Yes.
So watch what happens when I press this.
Yeah.
That now changed. And now you have these 8 faders. You see how that changed? Because the levels are different and the labels all changed. So what you have is this is the guest priest. We're going to change that to now, instead of calling them guest priests, we're going to call that one Body Pack 5. Body Pack 5. Then what you have is the iPad mix is this one right here. So right now you can see Body Pack 5 is not active. So I'm going to activate Body Pack 5. iPad mix, that's where this comes in. So now, because this is a smaller mixer, you only got 16 channels on here, so it's 8 wide. That's why you got to go between these two, right?
Yes. Of
Okay.
course.
But out there, you've got that one box has 16 channels on it. There's also 16 mics in the floor. There's also some mics that are on the stage. So if you count that up, that's 36 channels. So what we came up with was, instead of you having to worry about having a big old fader taking up this whole space and you being intimidated by it, for those times when you have the choir and they're using that, this is where this comes in. This is where this mute is global. So right now on this IN16, as you can see up here at the top, I'm on the 168 box. That's that box we were looking at that we plugged in.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
If they're plugged into one of the floors, that's where these are. And notice the colors change to help you indicate.
Yeah.
Plus also you notice the top changes as well.
Yes.
And we come to the lectern and once again they change, okay? So right now, they're plugged into this 168 box, and let's say the choir director is plugged into one. You'll pretty much be able to know which ones they're plugged into because they're going to be unmuting themselves in there. So they're going to unmute. Right now, they're hot out there and in here, okay? What's cool about that is this. See this little bar right over here? If Tim were to go over there and plug into that, he would see a graph in here that as he's talking, you would see it going up and down based off of as he raises and lower his voice. So you'll be able to see who's active, even if they're muted, because this meter is before that mute. No, it's after
No, it's
the mute.
post.
Post after the mute, okay. So you'll be able to see who's active, and if somebody's going into feedback, it doesn't matter because you're not worried about that room there, okay? But let's say these 4 people are unmuted, and beforehand you went into them and they said, oh, this is the choir director, this is Sally Saint, and this is Godly Gregory, okay? So Sally Saint, Godly Gregory, and then we have a guitar and we have the piano, because again, we want them to put the instruments on there.
This
okay?
is on mute, right?
Yep, those are unmuted right
When
now.
it's dark,
When it's dark.
audio passes.
Yeah, audio passes, okay? So now, they're unmuted. So in here, Godly Gregory's really feeling moved by the song he's singing, so he's getting loud. So you can just lower him down. And Saintly Sue, she's a horrible singer, but she's really nice, but yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll lower her down, you know? Choir director sounds beautiful, but he's kind of a little bit quiet, so we'll raise him up. And you know, and then you can adjust the instruments, saying, oh, we want more guitar, we want less piano in there, and you can adjust the individual volume there. Audio mixing, in addition to your video mixing, this is supposed to be simple, that you can hopefully set it and not have to do very many adjustments.
Yeah, well,
Okay?
I'm not a video
Now,
mixer or
this is
audio
where-
mixer.
Yep. This is where you would need to check with them, because they have, so over here where the choir stands, right over there where the choir's at, you see right there where those seats are?
Yeah.
There's a floor box right there with some
Yeah,
mics.
yeah.
And then where's the other floor box?
It's in the front of the altar.
Yeah, here.
Right over here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So there's some mics in here,
There's
and
8
there's some
around
mics
the
here.
altar, and there's 8 in the floor by the choir. And then on either side of the ambo, there's a pair and a
Yeah,
pair
yeah,
that we've
yeah.
called lectern 1, 2, and lectern 3, 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
those-
these are the lecterns, the ones that are, so if I zoom in
Oh,
on
got it.
And
camera
like
1,
the high school group, when they came
So-
in, they used lectern 3, 4.
so that box
Ah,
right there
yeah,
on
yeah.
stage,
Yeah, yeah.
and that box right there, those are these lectern.
Got it.
The in-floor boxes
Are the
are,
ones that are
in the seats. Oh yeah, they're there.
they're right there
here.
There's 4 there
and right
and
there.
4 there.
Okay.
And
Got
then
it.
the other one is
Right over here.
Yeah, yeah.
right over here in,
And
in those
there's
those
4
seats.
brass plates. 2 of them have 4 mics each. One of them still has a power, which means you can still plug in the 16.8 over there if you have a larger group in the chairs. But
Yeah.
you can also just use the floor inputs. So we gave
Okay.
you a lot of inputs.
It's way more than what you've ever had. All
And
right.
they're accessible
Yeah.
without going down to the basement and patching them in.
Okay. So yeah, and everything, all the outlets are hot, so you can take that 168 and plug it in wherever you want, so you can have
And
different arrangements.
I did confirm it's +3 to -20.
Here's the other thing that's
all the
cool is
mixes.
when you get into this mixer mode and where you want to look at growing, we could actually, instead of giving you the one big 168 box, there's smaller boxes we could give in the future. This thing can grow and adapt based off of your needs. Okay. So that's what those floor XLRs are. The 8 there, the 4 on the front, 4 on the front. Those are those guys here, so that's a total of 16. This is that 168 box, and then the 4 lectern here. All of those mixed comes
And
to
they
this
go
iPad
to
mix.
this.
So if you
Okay.
do that, they will have none of those inputs.
Got
Okay?
it. Okay.
So
don't do
so with that, and if that mix is too loud, like let's say the father comes in and he's a lot quieter than them, then just lower down the overall mix, you know? But here is how you do that mix, and that way it takes up less space, and you're not
Yeah.
really mixing.
Yeah, yeah.
You're getting it to sound a little better than what you've ever had before. It's not just
Yeah.
one big hodgepodge.
Yeah.
The other thing that's nice is this, is I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but I believe that what we did was we split the audio before we even did any audio EQ going into the room. So that helps a little bit, because in order to get in that room, we have to take out certain frequencies that may make Father Ernesto sound different, or it may make somebody singing sound different. Over here, we've reversed that, and you don't have any of that EQ going on in there. Now, you do have some EQ capability over here that we did just a little bit to help. So like if we look at this channel here, if I come back over here and I hit this EQ, what we did was we just did a basic EQ over here that we raised the mids so that people sound clearer on the recording. We got rid of a lot of the low frequency, and that's basically all we did there.
This EQ is per channel or?
Yeah, this is for this
per-
channel here.
For this,
Yeah.
the one that is selected?
Yeah, the
Okay,
one
got
that's
it.
selected,
Oh.
yeah. So if I come over here, you can see it's changing per channel. You're not going to notice a difference there because we did the same EQ on every mic.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I did.
But if you needed to, you could adjust. If it's like, man, Father Ernesto doesn't sound right, and he's on body pack 2, you can select over here, and if somebody who knows how to EQ, they can adjust the EQ. Most of the time, you guys aren't going to be worried about it. You're just worried about faders. That's what you're going to be worried about, is fading it, and then trying to get everybody at an equal level so that they sound good.
The pre-EQ direct outs are only the primary presider channels.
Yeah.
All the choir inputs are post-EQ direct out.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Oh, and I think it would be kind of cool to maybe have a volunteer make some fabric dust covers for all the tech gear.
Yeah.
See how dusty that is?
Yes, I was
So-
just, looking at that.
And the
It
same
just-
thing
I
with the
feel like
mixer
just going in
upstairs.
there and just cleaning it up right now.
Because the
Please do.
dust just settles
Because-
on everything.
So you've got
Okay.
you
Not
got the
only
5th body
that,
pack. So on this
I think
second
it's
group
gonna
of channels,
super
you got the 5th
dusty.
body pack, the iPad mix, and then what we have is upstairs we have a special device that has 2 microphones connected to it. One is pointed towards the sanctuary to try to pick up when people are doing recitation or singing. It'll pick up ambient noise. That's what this audience is labeled as right here, okay? The other one is the organ. So it's pointed towards the organ, and it's a dedicated organ input. You're gonna probably hear the organ come through the other mics, but you can raise and lower the organ. Those can change in the future to whatever we want it to be. And then the one thing that you have never done that may be starting to be used in the future is this. This is that signage box I was telling you about that we can activate instead of us using the PC upstairs. But you have, in addition to that, you have this thing called floater. Okay? This is a video box that, as you can see, has a network port on it. So we go to any of those jacks that I was telling you about, plug this in, and I can plug in an HDMI source. And that now, if you notice over here, I have this floater. I can now click floater, and I can send that floater to any of the TVs, including the Tricaster. So I can take this floater and send it out. Well, here's the cool thing. You now have video in this system. So right now we are sending the studio PC, sending the loft PC to the entry, okay? I can come over here, and if you notice, I have the loft PC also going to my audio mix. So on this computer, besides just doing a PowerPoint show, I could have Spotify running in the background playing background music. I can play a video clip and they'll hear the audio on that. So that's what this PC left and right is, and these are tied together. That's going to raise and lower both the stereo left and right at the exact same
So
time.
PC means the one
PC
that
means
love.
whatever your video source is.
Oh.
So whatever one of these, so if I come here and I'm like, hey, I want to send the studio PC audio over to there. So now I'm not showing, if you notice, I'm showing the loft PC. I'm sending it to the Tricaster. So that's why it's coming to here. I'm sending the loft PC to the 2 TVs. Then what that means is I have different video there, but I can play Spotify on this computer, and I can send that audio out to the church sanctuary. And they will have on their touch panel the ability to raise and lower that volume on that source in the room. And you have the ability right there with that PC left and right to raise and lower what's going to the recording. That's what the PC stands for.
I mean, it makes sense, but I'm confused which one PC is the one upstairs and which PC
Okay,
is this one. So.
instead of me calling it PC, why don't I change that to say source left and right for
Okay.
video source, V source. I'll change the label.
Which, but again, which video source? Maybe
It's
it's more confusing.
Whatever is audio here, that's your source.
Oh,
So I have something coming from the loft PC. That's the source. Signage player, that's the source. Whatever is showing up,
so I first select the source here to be to the audio mix, and
Yep.
then that will go into this PC.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So you have the ability here, this is the way this works, is Normally, you're just gonna take the active camera and send that to the TVs. So if you notice right here, whenever all right, active camera. Okay, mobile TV. There we go, there we go. So camera, so now if you look at the TVs, they're getting the camera images out there, right?
Yeah.
Yep, but notice we're not getting this here. Why? Because what we're sending to the recorder right now is the camera or the Tricaster feed, right? That's what we're sending to the recorder. And right now you can see the Tricaster is getting the loft PC. So that's why you're seeing the signage right there.
Yeah.
So right now we've sent something totally different to the TVs, and right now I have the loft PC and the Tricaster. The loft PC is going to the Tricaster and it's going to our audio mix. All right. So this is kind of, you can do whatever you want to do with this. This gives you flexibility that you could have up there in the loft PC. Could be dedicated to a signage. It could be dedicated to playing background music, whatever you want it to be, and you just route that to the appropriate thing. Okay. So let me change this real quick instead of it saying PC left and right, because it might not be a PC source. Okay. So this is, you guys can determine what goes where. Now, if you notice something, right now we're sending the loft PC to the Tricaster. If I change that to the studio PC, going to the Tricaster into there, notice that I have both of these video source overlay, video source no overlay. Okay? We're sending it twice to the Tricaster, and I'll show you why right now. Let me turn on this PC. It's not on. Okay. Well, let me show you on here. Let me go ahead and send the loft PC to the Tricaster in the studio mix. Okay. Right now, if you notice, this is a solid image on there. Okay. So go to my background, and I will change this now to the camera. And as you can see, I can switch between cameras. If I wanted to show this source and it's not intended for an overlay, if I go to number 5 and I switch to that, if you look closely, you can see this video doesn't quite look right.
Yeah.
Because it's trying to get rid of the color to show an overlay. But if I go to 6,
Yeah.
that's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the whole
So
reason
put it
why
there?
we have that going over there, so that if you actually are in the middle of your PowerPoint or whatever you're doing, and it's not, oh, we don't need this to be an overlay, we want it to be solid, then you just switch your output to be input 6. And then you don't have to worry about that overlay issue. Okay? Where that would potentially be an issue is this, is if I come to disk 1, and you can see I turn on my overlay here. Let me come over here now to change that to full. Oh, sorry. Back on before. Okay. Disk 2. I got to get this set up correctly. Okay. Okay. Logging in. It's 1199 to get in here. Okay, let's just open up the English Sunday overlay. And we start our slideshow. Okay, so as you can see, I've got that all set up there. Wait, that's set in the wrong thing. Escape, that's backwards. Slideshow. Monitor is under 2 extra on HDMI. There we go, now it's correct. Okay, so we have our overlay here. So let me show you how this works now. If I come to bring this to 6, you see how that got rid of that overlay, so to speak? 5, and then go back to 3, you're there, okay? If I turn that on, I have overlay active. Let's go to the background. Let's change this now. Lock PC. Right now, if I have that up there, change this to 3. Oh man, what's going on here? Oh, the reason why you're not seeing anything right now is because this is still active disk. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the whole reason why I put that in there, that if you're actually gonna show something that you don't want that background, you just, instead of doing the disc, activating the disc, you just go on ahead and go to number 6 to activate that.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see.
Does that make sense? Because otherwise, if I activate that disc, it's a solid image.
Yeah.
You're not seeing any video no matter what camera I select.
Yeah.
The camera's switching underneath
yeah,
there.
yeah.
The camera's
Yeah.
switching, but this thing's over top of it because you have a non-transparent background that's up there, because it's trying to do number 5, which is a solid overlay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why I did that? So otherwise, you got to remember to turn on and off that background mode in order to see the camera.
Yeah.
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 But by doing this now, you can just go hop right to 6. Bam, I got that. Cool. Let's go back to another camera, and I'm good to go.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So that's the reason why you're seeing that up there twice. I got rid of the other camera preset pages because those camera preset pages were conflicting with the presets that were over here, and they were also conflicting with the presets that we had over here, so we got rid of the camera control over here. It was just kind of like, all right, keep it simple. This is your camera control. Other than on the other touch panels, they go to presets that we're doing. So, make sense?
Did you see?
Because I wanted you to see that I've already set up for all of the front cameras. The front camera has different presets than the other 3 cameras, okay? So you can see that right now, it doesn't matter which camera. If I go to camera 3, well, that was a bad choice because that's a front camera. If I go to camera 1, if I enter in and I go call 1, enter, you'll see that that goes to a wide
So
shot.
this is camera 1.
Yep.
Because it only says cam preset. It says here
Front
from
camera.
cam. So
This
front
is-
cam is
cam
So
one.
it doesn't matter. So this, notice cam 1 just went to a wide shot.
yeah.
Go to cam 2, call 1, enter. That's a wide shot. All the cameras,
Wide shot of the altar.
it's just a wide shot of
Of the whole front of the
the
church.
front of the church.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I go to camera 4 and I go call 1, enter. Every one of the cameras is set up that number 1 is a wide shot. Okay? If I come over here, wide shot. Here's where things get different. Cam 3 is facing the wrong direction. Okay? So if I go and I do wide shot, cool. But now all of a sudden when I come here, I want to get the altar. So let me go on ahead, take any camera, and if I go call 2, enter, that first camera is going to go to a wide shot of the altar. However, cam 3, it's facing the wrong direction. You don't necessarily want to see the back of the pastor, right? You want to see the audience, or you want to see the entry or whatever. So that's why I just made for cam 3, which is the front camera. Let me grab my pen out of my bag, or Garrett, give me a pen. Oh, there we go. We're going to change this to front cam 3. Okay? That better?
Yep.
Cam 3. All other
Okay,
cams.
cameras. Okay.
Okay? All other. Let me put other on there. Other. All right, that make a little more sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. So now if I go to number cam 3 and I do call 2, enter, you will see that that is, that's the entry. It was already on entry. So let's go call 1, enter. You see it's a wide shot. Okay. So I tried to come up with some shots. So what we have then is we have the choir. So if I go call 3, enter, that goes up there for the choir. Oh, I guess I need to differentiate between which choir it is.
You have.
Love choir. You
Yeah,
can say
I
love
should say
choir.
loft. Let me see your pen again.
Yeah.
Choir loft. Yeah, there we go.
So try 8 and see if that's the other choir.
Oh yeah, call 8. That is the other choir. So let me put that down as floor. Okay. Floor.
Okay.
Hopefully you can read my writing.
No, I got it.
All right. And then if we go call 4, that's the baptistry. But what I find is, yeah, that's great. You got the baptistry. But what I find that's actually a better shot of the baptistry
Camera 2 baptistry?
is camera 2 and going to the baptistry, but I don't have that over here on a preset. So what we could do is we could actually go to camera 2, and on camera 2, I'll bring this all the way over. Yeah, bring this over. Scroll in. This is a better shot for baptistry, and in fact, if you look at the presets that I have on the touch panel, I'm doing it from camera 2.
It might make more
And
sense to do
I'm gonna do
camera 4
set
because
9.
the pastor tends to stand on this side.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
you know what? Actually, you know what? I did have something on here, because if I actually went call 8 enter, that's the entry. So that's kind of a shot like that. But if we do call 9 enter, that'll bring you a little bit closer to the baptistry.
Let's, wanted to try it on 4, call 8. Put 4 up.
Yeah, what I found is they kind of, when the
The
fathers,
pastor tends to stand on this side.
well, when you're doing an event that you're going to need to capture the video and recording, we're going to want to come over here, and you're going to go start, and you're going to go into full tech mode, okay? Because in this, those events are going to be when you're going to have somebody who's upstairs running the mixer, okay? And we'll talk about the audio in a minute. But right here, what you're going to want to do is this. Before we start the recording, you're going to want to come to record, replay, and go to configure. So record, replay, hit the little icon right there, and go to configure. And then you'll check these boxes right here. And then once you're done and you're ready to start recording, you'll hit that record replay button, and that will now start the recording, okay? And what that will do is that will give you at least 3 of the cameras and the master program. I still am trying to figure out how to give you the 4th camera, okay? But then you'll have an individual recording of each of those cameras, and if something's off, you can adjust it individually. As far as your audio, the master will have that overall mix, but if you want the individual channels, what we will have to do is one of 2 things. You could have a laptop that you can plug into this thing right here, this cable right here, that says, no, into this one right here, that says PTZ LAN. If you plug your laptop into this, you can load onto that computer a program app called, Tim,
Yes.
what is the Dante Virtual Sound Card, DVS?
DVS?
Dante Virtual Sound Card, DVS. If you load DVS onto your computer and you plug into this, what we have is all of this audio is on the Dante system. You could then route all of that stuff directly to your computer, and you can capture each and every individual channel, and later you would be able to do a mix with every individual channel if you don't like what they ended up doing here live in the studio. So that's one way that you can get to where
Dante
you're
Virtual what?
at. Dante Virtual Sound Card.
Yes.
Oh,
It's what I use when I want a multi-track record.
Oh, here's how we can go ahead and adjust the white balance. There's a cycle here.
Good.
And if I hit this cycle button, it now goes, and you can see on here, if you see where it says white beam mode, it's in manual mode, auto mode. Auto mode has seemed to work, but whenever the light changes and stuff, it's middle of the day, that's good. But if I come here, that's indoor, outdoor, and then this one push. Once I did that, we have this trigger here for one push. So you can now take the camera, point it at something that's white. So in this case, we come in here and we go to the altar where we have the white that we're wanting to have. And I hit that one push, and up in the corner, it's going to say calculating, please wait. And it's taking a look at the white there. And now that sets that camera saying there's our reference for the white balance. And you can set each and every camera, just point it at the altar and set it for the one balance whenever you want to set that. Okay, so to make a preset, so for whichever camera you want, so right now we have camera 1 up there. So I'm going to set this on camera 1. And if I were to zoom in and go down a little bit, and I make sure, let's just say I want the backlight on right now as well. We turn on the backlight, make it brighter there. Okay, cool, that's the look that I want, that's the preset that I want. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit set, and then I'm going to save this as 11. So I hit 11 and then I hit enter, and now that has saved that as a preset. So now if I zoom back out and I go to call 11, enter, that will now call up that preset and the brightness level and everything there at the same time. Okay, so before you record, you click over here, go to configure, and do these individual check boxes.
Beautiful.
And then you can click the record play and it'll be done.
Yeah.
When you're done, you come over here to export, and you first of all make sure that you're saying, hey, I want to be able to export to the media or to USB, and I want to also be able to export all the media files. And then you click export media. And then this is where you come down to add, and this will show you your last set of bit of recordings that you have. And then you can click each and every one of those recordings.
So click one.
So if I click one and I click OK, that now puts that in there. And now all I have to do is go ahead and click export. And when I click export, that will try to export it to the thumb drive, which right now I don't have anything in there, so that's why you're not going to see any progress on that. So cancel, because I don't have it exporting anywhere right now.
But if you had a USB, something right in there.
Nope, and that's
Nope,
USB.
I'm sorry.
It's this one right here.
Thank you.
This is the USB that's
Yeah.
connected to the visitor.
Okay.
Every service.
So USB, can it also be a drive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And same with this one here. You could actually put in a USB drive into here. This is your SMP 111, and every service, when they say we want to record, or when we say start service, it's going to record this right here. And there's an internal hard drive inside of here. It will at the same time also record to whatever USB drive or thumb drive is plugged in right here. So, but that is only going to be a recording of
Program.
the program.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, and it is compressed to an MP4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's compressed. Those would give you uncompressed, and that's why they get filled up very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we only want to do one service, get it off of there. And by the way, you're going to like this. This is now on a USB 3.0 port. It was on the USB 2.0 port, so it should speed
be.
things up a little bit.
Okay.
So if you're going to do everything in the PowerPoint, as long as it's got the green background there, you can see it gets rid of all that green, and you just see whatever graphic it is on there. So on the screen, I just have the QR code right there. Phone, I wonder if it'd pick up that QR code. It just has that. But if I go to a slide, the next slide here, it's still trying to do the transparency, and this is a whole picture. And you can see it's kind of showing part of this as a transparency, and it doesn't look right. So what you want to do is just quickly come over here and hit number 6. And that will get rid of that effect there. And the reason why is because we're bringing the source in twice. This one is trying to do the overlay, and then this one is not. So if I then went back to the next slide where I want that transparency, I would just go on ahead and go to any camera image, and there you could see there's my camera with the transparency overlay. And then you can just slide through your thing, and then, right there you have that on the lower. But if you don't want that little gray tint, you can just adjust your graphics like we do on this slide right there, to where that background, that gray, goes down there. So you could do just the lower third with that, and the rest can be a normal camera image shot.
Okay.
Or you can completely get rid of it right there. The only drawback you run into is like right there, you can see in that camera angle, it's kind of hard because the light's washing out the white. But when I come here, the light doesn't wash out the light doesn't wash out the white with that. I've tried other colors. You could try other colors and see how they look.